Hi there, this is Ready Steady Mums Hampton's Yaxley. The reason why I put Yaxley on there now is because I have decided now to launch a Yaxley group, and the health visiting team thought it was fantastic and it's something that Yaxley really needs because there isn't very much for mothers to do in Yaxley. So it's exciting. I'll give you more information about the times and the meeting spots at the end. But for today, I do want to have just a quick discussion on identity of being mum. And the reason for that is because I believe it is something very important. And actually a few weeks ago, me and the ladies were having a coffee, and I thought it was a good time to bring just a discussion about it. And it was just wonderful, some of the things we spoke about and reflected on, and I just saw a look of relief just to talk, and that's all it takes sometimes, just to reflect and let out all those suppressive feelings that some of us don't realise where a lot of our unhappiness is coming from. And just talking about unhappiness actually helps us to find a reason or a way to put it right. So, identity. I mean, when we talked about identity, we made a little spider diagram. We didn't make one, but we talked about it, and then later I just put it together because I just think it's great just to do that, so that I can look back on it too, and so I can see clearly what we've spoke about. So this is what I put together from the discussion. My identity, all the things there. Like, we've got leisures. What do we find relaxing? Bubble bath, pamper, swimming, cinema. And these were all the things people said that they like doing before they become a mum, which they very often put off now. Some of us not. There's one lady who does all these things, and right from newborn, which I believe is key to enjoying each moment with your child, and finding those little times, those little spots to rest, because we can't keep going 24/7. We need a break too, that's not to say that that we take all this time off and go out, and that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying, what do we find restful in a healthy way? A time where it's just cut off point just for you, just to unwind and be in your own thoughts. So at times like that is good for when hopefully daddies can step in, because it's just as valid and important that they have their time with their dad, to build up a connection, a bond, for them to get to know one another. It's essential, it is key. It was really good to also talk about our gifts, things that we're good at. Like, some of us are good at being organised, others are good at other things, like what do we say? Helping people, talking. Some of us are shy, some of us are good listeners, some of us are good talkers. So it was nice to acknowledge that we all have our unique, different things that we're good at, and other things that we're not so good at, and to not feel limited as a mum just because we have a friend that is so organised. And even though we need all these things for harmony in the home, not to put pressure on ourselves, and to know that it's all a learning curve, and this is what community and friendship is good for, to giving each other a helping hand for when we need it, for being there for one another. And then we have talents. What things did we like doing before we became a mum? Some of us haven't given up on those things, but others of us have given up on all of those things. We've got things like sketching, swimming. Some of us are good at planning and maths, so Sudoku, beauty, running, painting, writing, poetry, bodybuilding. So I just think that we must realise there's a deeper core to us, and in order to really enjoy motherhood, we need to remember that these things are essential and they are key to our child's process. Key to our child's processing and development and growing up, because you are your child's idol. And I just believe that when your child sees her or his mother doing something she likes and something she's talented at, or something she's striving for, or something she enjoys, it's showing your child, teaching your child to do the same, because your child is following in your footsteps. And so when we're using long out stretches of time doing things that are not so healthy, then your child is gonna have that conditioning to do the same when they get older, which isn't good. Because I know this from my parents, because they had the TV in the background a lot of the time, and the TV was always on. There wasn't real great encouragement to paint or do anything of the sort. Even though the materials were there wasn't. I just know if I saw my mum doing those healthy things for herself, then I would probably be doing it now, because we are the role models for our kids in the future. So we mustn't feel guilty or ashamed that we are not literally giving our every moment and second and inch of ourselves to our kids, because I believe that's dysfunctional. That's not harmony, and it can't be if you're not happy. And unless I know some mothers, they believe that is their complete core and happiness, and they have learnt to be happy with it, and it has become their identity. But then the evidence shows later on, when the kids grow up and move on, I've seen it happen. So many people, when their purpose is lost and they've really realised, they believe they've lost themselves because their child is no longer present. There's just so many healthy factors to being balanced. And to take a little step back, I'm not talking about loads of steps back, because there is a lot of being a mum is being present, is being there, is helping your child, is helping at home, and taking care of things and making sure things are flowing nicely, and there's bliss, there's happiness in the home, there's creativity flowing through, and your children and your partner are being fed healthily, and they have all that they need. I believe that is key. That is important. And can we feel happy for doing that? I believe when you surrender to it, when you surrender to something, that you do experience complete joy. And I believe when you really give your whole self, because that's what surrendering is. It's giving your whole self, your whole focus to that one thing that you're doing. Like, my daughter Yasmin, she has chickenpox, and this morning, she usually gets herself changed, because I do encourage independent behaviour for children. But I helped her get changed this morning, as she's not very well. And just those little moments, surrendering to them, you can really enjoy every little moment when you surrender to them, because there is spirit in what you do. And when you are helping, there is spirit in that. When you are surrendering and allowing that joy, that harmony to flow through you, and you really give yourself to what you are doing, and you are experiencing love in what you're doing, and you're giving out that love, you're giving out that energy, that spirit through what you are doing. And then your child is experiencing that and receiving that as she looks to you when you're doing her buttons up or helping her to put her shoes on, and you are really present with her as you do it. She is feeling care. She is feeling love. She is feeling secure. So even though I encouraged independence, don't wish it away and those moments where you do need to help, you do need to be there. Enjoy it. Choose to enjoy it. And that comes with surrendering, because there will be times where we're feeling tired and we don't very much, there will be times where we don't want to do something, and we do just want to take care of ourselves and have some more time to rest and relax and reflect. If you're getting to that stage where you're not enjoying what you're doing anymore, you need to take a time out to reflect. And this is where we have hopefully, if your partner is there with you, hopefully that can be the time where you can step back and to do these things that I call rest leisures, like have a bubble bath, or do something you find restful. Go out for a walk, go for a coffee with a friend, and or just visit a family member for the night, have a girly night. These things we need. Not long ago, last weekend, I went to visit my sister. She's just moved from Sweden to Brighton, and I very much enjoyed this because it's not often I do have time away from the children or from the home or from whatever it is I'm doing around my role of being mother, wife, housewife, as you say. But I do have the Ready Steady Mums socials that I do now and again, and it did happen to be on the same week where I did the swimming ladies night event at Regional Leisure Centre, which it was a really good relaxing evening. And but it's not often, it's just once really in a term time, but whatever works for you and your family, okay? I took a coach on the weekend to Brighton to see my sister for the night. It was just so great catching up, seeing her new place on the coast, and seeing her happy and things working out for her, and not having the children in the background where I had to think of them, what they need, and not being on high alert all the time. What's the next thing going to be, you know? So and I came back a happier person. I came back with more energy, lots of energy, and I just came back wanting to give my all and be all to everything. The housework, make sure the house is perfect for when my husband gets back, and to do some work in the garden and set up some projects in the home to make it as great as possible for everyone. And whereas if I didn't have that time, like once a month or whatever works for you, then I believe this is where the joy starts getting disconnected and starts leaving you, because you're working all the time, because just because you're home and you have those, sometimes you're not always actively going, you're still going in here because you still hear the children in the background, or you're waiting for nap times to be finished, or you're planning the next meal, and your energy is still being used up constantly. You're still on high alert. You're still waiting for that next thing you need to do. And also, I think coming away into your own zone, it helps you to just reflect on things. It helps you to rationalize all the things you've been thinking and feeling, and almost letting go of that energy that you don't no longer need anymore. So it helps you to completely rest. So I mean, some people, which is great, they're living in very community sort of family orientated lifestyles, and whereas where family are always round and in and out of doors, and families are very supportive, and they have the children, so you have a bit more of that balance, because I am very all for community and children having some time away from mothers, to be like with daddy. Sometimes it's essential to their growing up. I mean, the daddies, they're their confidence, they're their teachers, they're their huge idols in life, you know. They're what are gonna form their strong character, because they will look up to their dads as their complete idols. And it is, I hear of some cultures where the dads take their children to work with them and teach them life lessons, and there's spirit in that, there really is. And with spirit comes harmony, and with harmony comes deep joy and satisfaction. So we just have to remember that we have to step back and let dads be dads too. If dad comes home feeling pressured from work, do everything you can to give him what he needs. But at the same time, mothers also need some time just to be themselves again, and just we mustn't get confused that being mum becomes our identity. It's just part of the identity. It's just part of our role right now. There is a deeper core, there is a deeper being within us all. I think that we must realise this so that we are not missing out too much, but enjoying the role of being a mum comes with surrendering to that role, being thankful for the simple things, having a roof over your head, being comfortable. I know there was a point where I really wanted to go back to work, and I'm not saying that's wrong to have that desire, but I know, and I have spoke to some people where they have started building up some resentment for not being at work, and using the words along the lines of, I'm not just a housewife, you know. I mean, I know there's so many stereotypes out there, but it just made me think a little that I believe being a housewife, it's nothing to do with being above or not of your partner. There is a very huge purpose and a huge joy within the role of being at home, and I just want people to really recognize that if they find that balance and they find their purpose, the things they like within their roles, and let your child journey through that purpose too, and actually awaken to realize how essential and important your role of caring is. And it's, to me, slightly offensive when some people feel that they are beneath their partners because they are not working. Okay, so I just believe, I understand it, because there was a small point in my life where I did feel the same, so I completely understand it. But we must begin to value mothers that do choose to stay at home and the reasons for them doing. I think that's important to do that, because they are just as important, and it is a matter of choice, and it is a matter of surrendering to what it is that you need to do and what is important in your life. I mean, that's just a small overview of identity. I believe that we are the hearts of the home, and to create a beautiful environment for our husbands to come home and rest, and to have that time, have that one person focusing on all those things. It creates an environment for rest, and I believe it's essential and it's key, and it all comes in with harmony too. But yes, important to step back, let dads have time, so that we can find ourselves again and not feel like we're getting lost within work, because it is a job. Being at home, being a housewife is work. Being a mum is work. Because you're on duty all the time, just like your husband's at work. Or I know it could be the other way around. I know there is a lot more mums that are working these days, and the housewife role is dying, and there isn't very many housewives. I know in The Guardian 2017 there was a survey done where up to 2 million mothers, 2 million up to 2 million mothers. Let me just find where I wrote that. Are now back. So here it is. So number of working mothers in England rises by 1 million in 20 years, and almost 3/4 of women with children are in full-time or part-time work, and a lot of that's due to them being driven partly because of new childcare policies. So stay-at-home mothers are vastly disappearing. Have within 2 decades, the number has gone up by 1 million in 2 decades in England. So yeah, that just speaks briefly about that. And all, I mean, I think there's lots of different aspects for being a mum. I mean, some parents, some homes and families, they have carers, they have nannies, or they start nursery at a very young age. I'm not saying any of that's wrong. Whatever works for you and your family is individual. I mean, there's a lot to the aspect of to mothering and being a father. And I mean, if you find there's a lot of foster children out there who have new parents, and they're making that decision for it to be a positive thing, and it has been a positive thing. I don't always think it's a bad thing that your non-blood carer is taking that role. That is a very sort of known thing back in the day, of where there'd be nannies in the home, and the parents kind of roles more sort of the teaching side, and I think there are good things about that too, as if they've got a lot of pressure off them from doing the caring side of the cooking and all the things that take up so much time and energy, and with reduced pressure you've got more time to do the other things, which could be like the teaching and the deeper things, just giving your child a kiss goodnight. But amongst all of that, what is essential is that you just have that time just to be in each other's presence, just to acknowledge what that person's doing and your child's doing. It really does give that child value, and it really does make them feel loved, important, treasured, and what you give to them, they will go out in the world one day as adults, and they won't be looking or craving that in hypersensitive, wrong ways from other people, because they would have already had that foundation of love within them rooted. And for girls especially, fathers, if they give that love, that affection, that comfort, if they give that, or give their child that time, that value, I just really do believe that your child is best idol is their daddy, and that when they go out to find their husband one day, hopefully they won't need to find, because they will value themselves so much that they will just focus on themselves, and within time the right person will come to them. That's, I believe, is the true right order and way in life. Too much of us are going out looking, trying to fill up an emptiness within us, or fear for our futures, that we end up making wrong decisions, and decisions that we have to live for forever. So that is very important, that daddies, we have time to take a step back, so daddies get that time with their child, because sometimes the pressures of work and all the focusing of trying to, because it takes a lot of energy and focus, and it's a huge responsibility being the main breadwinner and having a family to look after and provide for. It's a lot of pressure, and there are worries that come with it, because it's a huge responsibility. So I think we just have to value that, and just be as supportive as we can, and acknowledge the importance of that role also. Respect. I think respect is one of the biggest things that I believe that men look for. Feeling respected. I know that to a degree you have to earn that respect too. It works two ways. But that is something more so I think that men look for and need. It's almost like it's written within them, that something they need. With women, by far, to feel loved, to feel accepted. So mums and dads, really work on your relationship as a whole. I think that comes within everything, within every subject. It is the core of the home. If mum and dad are not happy, no one's happy, because everyone else will feel it. But if you're not happy, definitely there's always a reason, and just don't cease to get help. But that, I think, is a very, very hot topic. There's probably so much I can keep talking about this, but I think I've pretty much covered everything. I want to give you a little bit of information about the new group I will be starting in Yaxley. I'm hoping to start on this date. I will confirm all of this. Please sign up to the Facebook Ready Steady Mums Hamptons/Yaxley, because if there is any information that changes, it will all be on here. So the launch date is going to be on the 17th of May, and so it will be on Fridays, term times. Meeting spot will be outside Broadway Shopping Centre. So the spa, outside the front of the spa, which is at the back of not Surfing Green, I'm thinking of the Hamptons again, but Broadway Shopping Centre. But I will put all this information, just to double check, to put it forward to you, on the Facebook, which is Ready Steady Mums Hamptons/Yaxley. My name is Yeliz, and my contact number is 0790 32 87066. I really hope you can come along. It will be just a starting group, so at the moment there is no one, but I am going to baby clinic in the coming weeks, so hopefully I will meet a lot of lovely mothers there, or ladies, or it doesn't matter what age you are, whether you have a pram, whether you're just pregnant, or you have no children at all. Just come along and get connected. I'm gonna explore. I know there are some nice walks in Yaxley, so I'm gonna explore a little bit deeper with that, and hopefully find some ideas of what we can do and get to know one another. That's the first step. So thank you for spending that time listening to the subject on identity, and really all of this is just down to experience and just having such a huge interest in others, so listening to what other people think, and just my own personal beliefs. So I mean, if you do choose to come along, I'm really looking forward to meet you, and there's lots of more exciting things that are coming connected to this group. So again, my name is Yeliz, Ready Steady Mums, Hamptons / Yaxley. The group will be on 17th of May, and it'll be Friday term times at 11 AM to 12:15. We will probably go for a coffee afterwards, so do come along if you would like to. So the coffee shop would probably be the Cafe Nostra, which is a wonderful cafe, so that we could explore a little bit deeper. So have a great day, and I hope you've enjoyed, and I will be posting some more discussion topics, and hopefully see you soon. Bye.